Gun fans, it is your neighborhood friendly Jay Frank here, and I want to welcome all of you to another episode of Quintessential Ramblings. Now, you're here with me once again in my temporary office, and that's an important thing that we're going to talk about today. Temporary offices, permanent offices, offices at home, known as remote offices. But before we get into that, let's just get serious. There's some heavy stuff going on right now. We have COVID-19, coronavirus. Many people have died. Many people are very sick. Most of the country, if not all of the country at this point, is in lockdown because of it. We can't go to the grocery store. We can't go to pharmacies without seeing people in masks and gloves. We're not able to go out to dinner right now. We're not able to go out to the movies. It sucks. It sucks more for the people who are suffering due to the coronavirus. There are people who have lost their jobs. And then there are people who have not lost their jobs, but they have to be in a different situation when it comes to their work. Now, for 10 months, I have worked for a company as a remote employee. I was working for them as a remote employee before I came to Texas, and I continue to work for them as a remote employee while living in Texas. It's great for me. It means that I got to get out of the retail world, and I got to finally sit and relax, which is something I couldn't do for 14 years. I can do that now. And while it is difficult working remotely, I've been doing it for 10 months. It's second nature to me. I wake up in the morning, I get myself ready, and I come into my office and get to work. When I'm done, I just shut down my computer and do what I need to do and enjoy the rest of my day. I don't have to worry about traffic. I don't have to worry about, is my car going to work today? Am I going to get stuck at the office longer than I want to? I'm already home. There are people now who have gotten thrown into this situation, who are used to being at the office, and they're getting lost in how they need to handle working from home. It's a difficult thing to get used to, especially when you get thrown into it and you don't have time to prepare. Hopefully today, for those of you who are watching this video, whether you are just starting out as a remote employee or you are being thrown into it because of COVID-19, hopefully the tips that I'm going to give you today will help you out. First things first, when it comes to being a remote employee, you need to have a place to work. If you have a spare bedroom, that is awesome. You can turn that bedroom into an office just like that, and with a couple other things, you'll be good to go. If you don't have a spare bedroom, it will be a little bit harder, but you can make it work. Now, as I said earlier in the video, this is my temporary office. My home, Stevie's home, is still being worked on. It's not done yet. It's right across our in-laws' driveway. But right now, I don't have that office that I need. I'm using my in-laws' spare bedroom. I have the previous desk that I used back in New Jersey, and then I have all the equipment, plus a couple other things that weren't given to me by the company I work for to make my work at home experience successful. And we're going to take a look at that. But first, let's go back to the rooms. If you have a spare bedroom, make sure you can get internet in there. If you can get wired internet, that's the best option. If you can't, you can use Wi-Fi. Just know that your work is probably going to move a little bit slower depending on how strong your Wi-Fi is. I actually have a Ethernet booster sitting outside the office door with a line running through, so it's boosting the Wi-Fi, and it's connected to an Ethernet cable that's connected directly to a hub that I use that's connected to my laptop and my monitors. So, get the internet going. That's step one. The other thing you need is a working area. If you can get yourself a desk, if you already have a desk, that's great. If not, card tables work. I've seen people use table trays, and that's awesome. Just make sure it will work for you. If you need more space, working on a table tray is not going to work for you. My desk, I know it's not the best angle right now, my desk is pretty small. I have 2 monitors and a TV. I'll get you a closer look so you can see how all of this works. The TV is an LCD TV. I have an Ethernet cable hooked up to that, as well as an HDMI cable that runs from the laptop that I use, and it goes to the TV. I have 3 monitors to work off of. I have to look at a lot of stuff while I'm working. There's different things that I need to take care of, different information that I need to use. So the more monitors I have, the better. But it is cramped. Once I get the house taken care of and my office is put together, I'm actually going to build a new desk for myself. Pallets are readily available around here in Texas, so I'm actually going to build it out of pallets. So you'll see a video for that. But you want to make sure that you have that working space. The spare room, as I said before, is great. If you have to work in your bedroom, just make sure you have something set up in that bedroom so you can get out of bed and not work in bed. I've worked in bed before. I've hurt my back. There have been days that I've been pretty sick, but I can work at home, so I don't need to take a day off. It is difficult to work from your bed. I will tell you that. So if you can get something in your bedroom, that's awesome. The other thing that you need to do is, if you live at home with your family, if you have kids, if you have other people living with you, remind them that you are working from 8:30 to 5:30. That is your time that you need to work. So you need to find a way to shut yourself off from the world around you. I know it's difficult right now. A lot of kids can't go back to school. So a lot of kids are at home. And if they're at home, they're around you. There's no way around it. If you're lucky enough to have someone watch your kids while you're working, that is awesome. Totally take advantage of that. If your kids are doing some form of homeschool, whether they're doing remote schooling now that a lot of schools are switching over to, then they have their workspace, you have yours. But you need to make sure that you can concentrate as best as you possibly can when it comes to working in your new office. So now it's on to the next steps. We're going to go backwards. We're going to treat it like any other day. We're going to take a little trip. You ready? So let's start first thing in the morning. You know where I am. It's a little dark. Let's shed some light on this. I'm in bed. It's time to get up. Just because you're now working from home doesn't mean you get to sleep in a little bit more. Keep your routine. If you wake up at 6:30 in the morning to get ready for work, wake up at 6:30 in the morning to get ready for work. Don't change the time. Don't throw yourself off. You want to hold on to that routine that you've already had. Get yourself up. Get yourself dressed. Don't stay in your pajamas while you're working. Get yourself into some clothes. If you want to wear sweatpants, you can wear sweatpants. But get yourself ready like it's any other day. If you're used to wearing a suit when you go to work, you may not need to do that now. Unless you're doing video calls, you might need to make yourself a little more presentable than just sweatpants and a sweatshirt. But get yourself up at the normal time, get dressed, and get yourself ready to go. If you do have little ones, keep the routine going. Get them breakfast, get them ready for their day. Don't throw off your routine. Make sure you get yourself breakfast too. Don't forget about that. If you're someone that likes to stop at Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, unless you can get Grubhub, it might not be an option. Get yourself ready in time to get yourself some breakfast too. Now for me, from the bedroom to the office, it's about a 50-yard walk. It's nothing. Some people, you're gonna roll right out of bed, get dressed, and go. Well, let's head back into the office. Let's turn the light on, and I'll give you a rundown of my setup. Like I said, this is a spare bedroom that I'm using in my in-laws. It has some of their stuff, some of our stuff, so I'm working with what I have. My desk is right by the door. There's actually a spare bed next to my desk, so it's right in between the door and the bed. I'm fine with that. You gotta work with what you have. I have 3 monitors. I have an LCD TV that has, like I said before, an HDMI cable and Ethernet already connected to it. That's running down to a laptop that I have down here. And then I have 2 Dell monitors. The laptop and the monitors and the keyboard were provided by the company I work for. If you don't have those things given to you by your company while you are working remote temporarily, you got to work with what you have. If you're able to get your hands on another monitor, that's great, because I know how difficult it is to spend 8 hours staring at a laptop monitor. It's a small screen, and it's a pain in the butt to deal with. But this is how I have everything set up for me. The horizontal monitor over here is great for everyday stuff. So looking at emails, looking at files. But then I have a vertical monitor set up, which is just a Dell monitor, rotated and set to be vertical. And anything that I need to look at, that I need to get detail of, whether it be contracts, stuff like that, long things that I need to read, this is what I'm using. Keep it vertical, it makes it so much easier. The main system that I work off of is a pretty big system. It's a lot to read on even a monitor of this size. So that's why I took one of my TVs and I set it to use as a monitor. It makes it so much easier for me. If you do end up having a spare TV lying around that can take either a VGA or an HDMI cable that you can hook up, go ahead and do it. I have heard of people using their televisions to do so. Use what you got. If you are planning on working permanently as a remote employee, hopefully the company that you work for does supply the items that you need to successfully work at home. One thing is, hopefully you guys can get yourself a comfy chair. I have a nice office chair that was provided to me by my mother-in-law after we got here. Instead of me having to use one of the kitchen chairs, I can use her office chair for the moment. I did actually have my own office chair before we moved, and I ended up breaking it during the move. So I'll get a new one when it's time for me to get a new one. But get yourself a nice comfy chair. I actually have a support cushion on this chair as well. It does squeak a little, but whatever, it's fine. Just make sure that you have somewhere comfy to sit. If you need to throw some pillows on a chair, every once in a while I have a spare little throw pillow that I throw behind my back if my back is bothering me. So anything to make yourself comfortable while sitting here at the desk is great. If you guys are individuals who have to make phone calls throughout the day, I can tell you that my company did provide a headset. We use something called a soft phone. We also have a hard phone, which looks like a regular landline phone. I'm not able to set that up right now. I will once I get the opportunity and the space to do so. Our soft phones, we use the headset. It's a voice over IP phone. So the headset gets hooked up right into the hub that I have for my laptop and my monitors to get plugged into. And this is what I make calls with during the day. I also now have a set of Bluetooth earbuds that come in this little package here. These are actually a Tozo T6. They're pretty nice. I'm using that to record this video. And just take these things out and put them in my ears, make my phone calls when I need to. When I don't need to make any calls, I just put them back in the little case that charges them up, And if someone calls, just pull them right out, pop them in my ear, or I can switch over to the headset if I need to. As you can see, I do have the printer behind me. Once again, I don't have enough room on my desk to hold the printer, so I have it on the dresser right now. You got to make do with what you have if this is temporary for you. It's not temporary for me. I just don't have the opportunity right now to have a whole setup like I want. The next thing we need to talk about is making yourself comfortable at your desk. For my keyboard, I have the nice little wrist pad to put down, the ergonomic pad, so when I'm typing away, I don't have to worry about the edge of the desk hurting, getting carpal tunnel issues. So if you have that opportunity, make sure you have one of them. If you were able to take anything from your office as a temporary remote employee and you had something like that, that's great. If you need to, I think I got this one on Amazon for like $5. It actually came with a wrist pad too for the mouse, and if you can get yourself one, awesome. My mouse is a mouse that I purchased. I didn't enjoy using the regular mouse that came with all of my equipment. I also got myself an ergonomic mouse, so I just put my hand on it like this. My hand sits like this, so when I'm out straight and using the mouse, everything is nice and linear, it's smooth, so there's less pain. You're going to be sitting here for a while, so you might as well make yourself as comfortable as you can. The next thing that I highly suggest is using a notepad, or in my case, I use sticky notes. I use these often. I'm sure in one of the previous scenes you saw I had sticky notes on my large monitor, and I use them as much as I can to make quick little notes to myself, quick reminders saying, you know, hey, I got to take care of this, or call so-and-so, meeting at whatever. I do also have a notepad. Once again, harder for a smaller space. You need to work with what you have until you can either get back into the office or get yourself something better. The other thing I like to suggest is if you're using a Windows application, Windows now comes with sticky notes, so it's post-it notes for your desktop. I use these all the time. We have to keep a running tally of things that we do throughout the day as a remote employee, so I keep my tally on that, and then I just copy and paste that into my email and send that in when this is my productive day. Use them when you can. So I pin my sticky notes right to my desktop, right on the taskbar down here. If you don't have that, you can go into your search, type in sticky notes, and it will pop up. So you know what's great about these is that you need to take a quick note, you need to keep a running tally of something, you just take your mouse, click on it, and it opens up right there. Yes, it's a shameless subscribe. I'm sorry, but I needed to do it. You got the plus button right up here. That means you can open up as many as you need to, and you can change the colors of these if you need to. If you have different reminders, if you use a whole color system, you got something right there for you. Use them. It is a lifesaver. And use these too. If you don't like using post-it notes, you can always use a little notebook. If you don't like using the sticky notes, you can use a Word document on here. Work with what you have. Always remember to work with what you have. Now, the other thing you might be thinking about is, I don't want to be cramped up in this room all day. I don't want to be cramped up into this space. We all have that feeling. You're not alone. If you work in an office, you're probably used to working in cubicles in a larger space that you're able to get up from and walk around. I've heard the 20-20 method, which is work for 20 minutes and then stop for 20 seconds, look around, move around a little. I actually set an alarm on my phone for 25 minutes. It's work 25 minutes, and then the alarm goes off, and just take a minute, stand up, stretch out, move around a little, and then get back to working for another 25 minutes. It sucks to be sitting here and not moving. I understand that. You want to make sure you keep that blood flowing, keep yourself awake. You sit down too long, you start to nod off. And I started learning that in the first couple weeks that I started working as a remote employee. You need to find something to keep yourself moving, keep yourself going. So, set an alarm, go off every 25 minutes. But what happens if you're on the phone? What happens if you're in the middle of something? That alarm goes off, you can hit snooze. What are the options? It goes off again in another 5 minutes. If you're done doing what you're doing and it goes off again, turn off the alarm, get up, move around. It's just something that you got to do. You can't just be sitting here for a total of how many hours that you're working and not move around. It's not good for you, for one, and you're just going to get bored, you're going to get tired, and your work production is going to go downhill. So set that alarm for yourself. Now, if you're an individual who's used to having someone next to you all the time, you're used to hearing the sounds of the office, what do you do with that? I actually keep my tablet here right next to me. And I have Spotify on here. I have Pandora and iHeartRadio. I just put music on in the background. Make it loud enough to where I can hear it, but soft enough to where if I am on the phone or if I'm doing a video call, the person that I'm speaking to can't hear it. It's only for me. I don't put on something that's disruptive. I'm not putting on like heavy metal. I take that back. I will put on some heavy metal if I didn't sleep very well the night before. It's just something that's a little bit louder that I can hear and that will keep my brain going, trying to stay awake. But most of the time, I actually have on instrumental music, like some guitar music. I'll even listen to classical music. Or I'll have like a talk radio station on. If you're big into sports and you have a favorite sports station, flip that on. Just remember that it can't be something that will disrupt your work production. It's just something that is a little added noise for you to have during your day. I'll admit, I've tried to listen to audiobooks before, but I find that I'm so into what I'm doing for work, whether I'm reading through a contract or just trying to get something built out, that I miss half the audiobook. So if you are an audiobook fan, I suggest just skipping the audiobooks and listening to the music or talk radio. If you can manage to listen to an audiobook while you're doing this, awesome. If it helps you. I do know that there are some people that can listen to an audiobook while they're working. I'm not one of them. So, let's go back. Let's retrace our steps a little bit. The important things, the biggest important thing, which I don't need to touch on again, but I will, is having that workspace for yourself. But get up in the morning, get yourself ready for work at the normal time that you usually get ready. Don't change your routine. Then you want to, if you have kids, get your kids ready for their day. Make sure that you're dressed and ready to go for your day. Don't stay in your pajamas. Get yourself breakfast, get your kids breakfast, make yourself a cup of coffee, do a little stretching. If you're an exercise person in the morning, keep going with that exercise. Don't change up your routine. Then get yourself into your office, turn everything on, and get yourself ready to go. If you need to listen to music, turn your radio on, turn your phone on, whatever you can to listen to that music on. Make sure you have the important tools. Make sure you have a comfortable chair or something that will be comfortable enough for you to be sitting on for long periods of time. So you're not sitting down for too long. Turn the alarm on. Give yourself 25 minutes, get up for a minute or two, move around, get back to work, turn that alarm back on. Another 25 minutes, get yourself up for a minute or two, sit back down, turn that alarm on. If you have a phone call or a video call, or in the middle of working on something, hit the snooze button on that. If you're done and the alarm goes off again, get yourself up and ready to go. When you're done with your day and you're a normal office body, you get in your car and you drive home. You hop on public transit, you hop on the train, and you head home. You're not doing that now. When you're driving home, that's your unwind time. That's your you time. The time for you to clear your head. The time for you to go, I'm done with work and I'm moving on, moving home to enjoy the rest of my day. It's not happening now. So you need to figure out your wind down time. You need to figure out what you need to do. You're working at home, you shut everything down. Do you need to sit in this office for a couple more minutes? Just take a couple deep breaths? Do that. Do you need to go for a walk? Go ahead and do that. You just need to head to your bedroom for a couple minutes? Do that. If you're at home with family, let your family know that you need to have that wind down time. You need to have that you time. So you're not bringing work home with you. Now, I know I say that and you're working at home. But let's think about this. Let's have another serious moment. Stevie will be the first one to tell you that when I was working for retail, I was a miserable SOB. I'd end my day and I'd come home and be miserable, and my day just didn't seem to stop. I'd get text messages. I was a member of the management team. I'd get text messages from other employees, from other managers, from district managers, and it just wouldn't end. I definitely took work home with me. Now, working at home, I close that laptop, and when that laptop's closed, that's the end of my day. I take a step outside, just get a breath of fresh air, walk around a little. I got farm animals. I can go play with the farm animals, go feed them. I got a lake. I can go fishing. Just something that I can do to wind down for a couple minutes and not take work home with me. Now, I will admit, on my cell phone, I do have my work email, and I have my soft phone hooked up to that because there are busier times in the year. I handle contracts for things. So if I need to stop what I'm doing after I'm done work and answer an email real quick, I'll do that. If someone didn't get an email that I sent to them and they call me after I'm done work, I'll answer the phone real quick. But I'm not winding myself back up. I just take care of what I need to do. So you need to find that way to wind down and end your day. Do you need to go exercise? Do you need to go walk? Do you need to blare Marilyn Manson or Slipknot, or go listen to your favorite artist? Do you need to go play with your dogs for a couple minutes? Do you need to go read for a couple minutes? Do you just need to go to your bedroom and close your eyes? Go do that. Working at home can drive you crazy. You have to know how to separate your work life from your home life. You have to know how to do that for any job. But it's more important now. If you are one of the employees that is temporarily working at home because of the current health situation, it's a lot more stressful than if you're just a regular remote employee. So you need to find a way to de-stress, decompress, and not stress out on your family. Not continue to stress yourself out for the day. So think about what you need to do to end your day. That's about it for what I need to tell you. You know, if this is the life that you've chosen now, to be a remote employee, congratulations. It's really fun. I enjoy it. My mom and my aunts and my cousins actually are remote employees as well, and they're enjoying life. If you are dealing with the unfortunate situation of having to work at home because of COVID-19, I am really sorry. It's not something that you're used to, and hopefully it's temporary for you, and it's not something that you possibly want to get used to. If you are enjoying working at home now and you normally work in an office, see if your employer can set something up for you to work at home for a little bit. It's nice to be out in the office, or it's nice to be out of the office. It's nice to not have to deal with traffic. So you got to find that thing that works for you. So before I end this, let's just retouch on what we were talking about. 1, make sure you have that workspace that will work for you. Spare bedroom, your own bedroom, out in the living room if you need to. Find that space, but also make sure that no one or nothing will be in your way. Make sure you have yourself a comfortable area. Make sure you have yourself a desk and a chair that's going to work for you. Make sure you can get internet to wherever you're going to be. If you're not able to have the room to use a notepad, if you're that type of person, take advantage of what is on your computer, or get yourself some post-it notes and make the notes that you need to make. If you are someone that has to be on the phone for a while, get yourself a good headset. If your company supplied you a headset, that's awesome. Use that. If you can get yourself some wireless earbuds, or if you already have a Bluetooth that you use for your phone that you can connect to your computer, use that. If you're someone that needs to have some ambient noise, get yourself your phone or your tablet, or even use YouTube or iHeartRadio or Spotify on your desktop, and play that sound for yourself that it's loud enough for you to hear, but if you have to be on your phone, it's not loud enough for the person on the other end of the phone to hear. And then the big thing is, find what you need to do to wind down for your day. Go for a walk, go to your room, spend a couple minutes in there, listen to some more music, do some exercise, but find something for you. And once again, if you are a remote employee just getting into this remote world, congratulations. It's a lot of fun, but just make sure you get yourself into a good pattern. If you are, once again, in this situation thrown in because of COVID-19, hopefully everything will get back to normal for you soon. To everyone who is watching this, if you have been affected in any way due to this pandemic that is going on, you are definitely in my thoughts. You're in Stevie's thoughts. It's a difficult thing. I'm sorry that anyone has to go through this, and hopefully things will get way better really soon. But keep your spirits up and know that at one point things will get better, and that you have people standing with you. So once again, everyone, I am Jay Frank, and I want to thank you for joining me for another wonderful episode of Quintessential Ramblings. Enjoy your day, enjoy your family, enjoy your time, and remember, always ramble on.